Good morning, Buff Nation. Good morning, BWBs. All of my bandwagon buffs, how you doing? I hope everybody is doing well. This is not a normal time for me. I am hoping and praying that, this with my new job and my new schedule, I am hoping that this could be the new time slot for TRP Sports Club. So we'll go from 11 to about 1 o'clock. And I believe my heart out is going to be, do I need to pause on that? Hopefully not. my heart out should be 1:15. So no matter what arguments we're having, no matter what heated debates we're having, 1:15, 1:20, I got to say, all right, I got to go. Final thoughts, that's it. But welcome, guys. I appreciate you joining me today. Welcome to TLP Sports Club. You are now watching TLP Live. I am your host, Harry Billion. Harry B, but the B stands for billion because I am a billionaire. Put that on the schedule. All right. Guys, listen, is the hate still out there? Are people still hating? I think so. I got some intel that the hate is still out there, but it's looking a little desperate right now. The hate is looking kind of desperate because that's the thing about hate. When you hate for the wrong reason, right? Because I think like the cousin of hate is criticism or disguised constructive criticism. That's the cousin of hate. So that's not really hate because we all do constructive criticism. So I can't call myself a hater because I do criticize constructively. But if you're hating for the wrong reason or for all the right reasons, when the thing you're leaning on for your hate starts to dissipate, you're going to have to lean in even more because then you have no leg to stand on. And because you already started hating for all the right reason, you just went too far. Right? Like if you ever flew in a plane or if you're driving and you're approaching a red light and the light is green, or no, you're approaching there's a green light. There's this thing called a point of no return. You have to go, right? At the green light, you get to that specific point at the light, and right when you know that right when you get there, the light turns yellow, and then the yellow turns red right away. Especially if you're in New York. Okay, New York yellow lights are the quickest yellow lights ever. All right, so it turns yellow and then red, and you get caught, and you just like, oh shoot, if I stop now, either I'm going to cause an accident or I'm going to get stuck in the middle, right in the center, but I gotta go. And if I go, I'm going to run the red light. So that's the point of no return. If you fly in the plane goes down the track or the whatever it is called. Okay, I can't think of it right now. So you get to a point where the plane is just gone too far and it can't stop now. You're going to have to either take off or crash. That's the point of no return. As a hater or somebody who leans too much into criticism and not enough praise, that's a good way to put it. You get yourself caught in a situation, a coinkyding, where when you thought all you were doing was constructively criticizing, you get caught in a place where you're exposed. And then this happens. When this happens to you, it's hard to come back out of this. You cannot come from this. This one is hard for you to come from. Very, very hard for you to escape this type of thing. And that's why I caution people on this channel often, because I asked the question. I said, "Are you sure you're constructively criticizing?" Because what you're doing kind of like, it feels like a little bit of hate. Because I don't want you to ever end up like this guy.
I hate him.
Let it go.
I hate Deion Sanders.
Free.
I hate Colorado. I hate their fans.
I don't want you to end up like this guy, okay? Because you're hating for the wrong reason or for all the right reasons. And you're going to get caught up. Because what you're hating for, when you were calling it football, right? You were constructively criticizing football play. And then the truth comes out. When the football isn't as bad anymore, you get caught up. And this is going to happen to you.
I hate him.
Let it go.
I hate Deion Sanders.
Free.
I hate Colorado. I hate their fans. I don't want it to work. I need it to not work. Oh, why is it working? I hate.
I need it to not work. I don't want it to work. Why is it working? See, this can happen to you. It's a symptom of a bigger issue. If your life is not going the way you wanted to go, and you get caught in a situation like this, I'm telling you, this stuff happens to regular people all the time. Because last year, I told you we had a talented team. And for some odd reason, it didn't work out the way that we thought, and we had analyzed that it would work out. And then I come back this year, and I tell you, I said, I'm seeing a similar pattern, a similar talent pool. And I know it's going to work out. So some of the elements that caused last year not to work out are no longer present. So I was pretty accurate last year. I'm telling you. Because the talent, even though the talent is much better, I feel like some of the things that changed to make that talent even more visible is the mindset of the players that were there. When you weed out the bad apples, when you get out the toxic individuals that are not there for the right reason, you get talent that's focused, that's professionally minded, and they want to play for each other. And I think that's what's happening. Because what is the difference? We're really changed, right? Let me not go too far. Let me invite y'all in. Let me say hello to my people. It's a new time slot, so let me not go too far in. But because we have a short time now, I can't do the 5-7 hours like I used to because of my new job. And I got to get up out of here and go to work, right? So when I come on here, I'm going to have to pack a lot of punch, and I'm going to have to punch early. So you're going to feel, maybe you're going to get a lot more information quickly or quicker, and the show is going to be more impactful. So I think it's going to be a better show because I don't really have a lot of time to stretch out the little bit of information that I bring. So I'm just going to have to give you all that information up front. We do some barbershop talking around the information, and then just like the show, we get up out of here, okay? So I don't want you to have an ulcer like this guy here. I remember the Dan Le Batard show. I don't want to call him a Dan Retard show. Did I just do that? I don't know. But he was a major hater. Major hater. And an interesting thing happens to shows like these. Coach Prime will appear on these type of shows, and he would do interviews. I don't like it, but Coach Prime is not me, right? I wouldn't go on somebody who hates me. I wouldn't go on their show and do an interview. But that's why we all celebrate and we respect Coach Prime, because he's his own man. So he does what he wants to do. We can criticize it or not. But yeah, I don't want you to get caught in a situation like this guy. Don't be this guy, okay? You don't want to be this guy right here. I hate him. I don't want it to work. Like, there's a lot more people that would like this guy. But they've been disguising their they're not love for Coach Prime. I'm giving a different different terminology, right? They're not love for Prime, and we're calling it criticizing football. But now that they can't necessarily criticize the football, what's left for them to do? What's left for them to do, Peter? Peter Investor, what's left for them to do? Now the hate has to just be exposed because you got nothing else. Peter, what's up, man? KMS, what's up with you? Let me say hi to my members first. Let me find all my members that's in the chat. Peter's a member. KMS 929's a member. What up, my guys? And then for the rest of y'all, not so members, because you're always here, like Shirley Kimball. What's up with you, Shirley? Andre Harris, what up with you? Baltimore's B-More's in the building. Tim Smith is in the building. Dallas, what up? Dallas is in the building. Dallas, is this a good time for you? I might be able to do 11 o'clock to, what's the name? To 12 to 1 o'clock. I could have either did it I could have kept the 12 o'clock time and then went up right up until 1:15. But I was like, by the time we get going in the show, you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like the shows, sometimes it gets so good, 1 hour is not enough. By the time I just do the intro, we already have an hour in. Patrick Williams says at TLP, what I don't understand, Harry. Let me see. What I don't understand, Harry, what is the reason why people hate Coach Prime in Colorado so much? I can understand not liking someone, but hate for no reason has a lot to do with you. That is correct. It's correct. I can provide some type of analysis because I know what this hate is. I've been describing this hate on my channel for so long. I've been articulating what this hate is really about. So I think I consider myself an expert on exposing this type of hate. And it's not just this type of hate. There's a lot, there's more. Like there's more to this hate. You know, it's not just this. You know, it's a lot more than this.
Man, they're 5-2. Oh God, look at this turnaround. Deion Sanders is back. He's done it. This is incredible. I'm not buying it. Deion Sanders is fool's gold. And what Colorado is doing is fool's gold. And yes, they may win 6 or 7 or 8 games this year. They may win 9. I don't know.
You don't know, but you said in the preseason that Colorado would not win more than 3 games. Now they may win 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know. This type of hate is rooted in something that I'm going to articulate in a little bit. But I want to take my time, guys. I want to take my time with it because, like I told you, Common Sense Buff, man, where you been, my guy? My Liberian Peking, where you been, my man? I've been looking for you all that time. The season not start now. We got good thing to talk about. Now you've been disappearing. What kind of Liberian Peking that? Anyways, let me go back into my series, my English accent. Peking, stop disappearing on me. Anyway, I hope your channel's doing okay. All right, but I want to take my time with this because I told y'all that I was going to lean into people like this and I was going to keep receipts this year. I wasn't playing. I told y'all that I was going to keep the receipts and I was going to pull out the receipts. I was going to come for these dudes. Okay? So here we are. This is beyond like, okay, when this football is not working, right? It's hard for you to tell whether they are articulating and trying to critique football play or if they're actually just hating on Prime. It's just like racism. If you don't have there's nothing to separate the, you know what I'm saying? If you're just saying, oh, I don't like this person, I don't like that person, but then all of the people that you don't like happen to be black, it's really maybe, coincidental. So it's hard to separate the actual thing from, because racism is hard to prove. And hate is really hard to prove, especially when it comes to football or just sports. Because all you got to do is just disguise it just a little bit and say they suck and they're no good. But then what happens when they're no longer bad or when they no longer suck?
But it's not one of the most impressive. They may win 6 or 7 or 8 games this year. They may win 9. I don't know. But it's not one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Why?
It's not that impressive to me.
Why isn't it? Why isn't it impressive to you? When everything is not impressive, when they're going 4-8, you lean into that. Why is it not that impressive to you? And this is why I told you all in the beginning, when you are hating for all the right reason, guys, when that thing, the springboard or that seabed or that thing that you're leaning on is no longer there, because you've gone too far or you've reached a point of no return, you got nowhere to go but to lean more into the hate, and then it makes you look foolish. Because now you start saying stuff like this. I'm not impressed. It's not that impressive.
Given the way college football has changed.
He's not impressed. It's not that impressive. Given the way college football has changed. Let me take my time with this, guy. This is a new time slot. And I, for some odd reason, I have more energy or something like that. I have like my energy is revving up. So give me time. I'm going to lean into this.
This is fool's gold. This is a reflection of the transfer portal and being able to just buy up talent. You don't.
So remember, he just said it's not impressive. He's not impressed given the way that college football is today or has changed. He's not impressed. And then he's saying being able to buy talent, do all of this crap.
You don't have to recruit talent. You don't have to develop talent. You have to buy talent. And yes, everybody's playing by those rules, and it's the same for everybody. Everybody can buy talent.
Y'all seen that Leonardo DiCaprio that meme? Y'all know that Leonardo let me oh my gosh. Oh gosh, I love it. Oh my goodness, I love it. This guy can be serious. Y'all know this meme right here? Y'all seen this meme, right? Right there, right there. You cannot say you're not impressed. You're not buying it. It's fool's gold because of how college football is today, where you have to buy talent. You're not recruiting anymore, right? You're now having to just get the money and you get the talent. By the way, it's called the NFL. Okay, I'm just trying to put it out there. It's called the NFL, by the way. Okay, but anyway, let's back up. Right? But then you don't get to say then in the next breath, get this. I understand everybody's doing it. You don't get to say that, bro. You can't say you're not impressed with Coach Prime. You can't say I ain't buying it as fool's gold, but I understand everybody's doing it. Then what are you talking about, bro? This is how college football is today. Right there. You don't get to say that. You can't have it in the same breath. In the same breath. You can't say it in the same breath. I'm not impressed. It's fool's gold. It's not impressive because of how college football is today. So what you're insinuating is that he's not that good. He's just buying talent. And let's make this clear. Colorado ain't got as much money as the other programs. Colorado is just new. Colorado is new to this when it comes to money and buying talent. But thank God they have Coach Prime right now to be able to use his bravado, his imagery, his NIL to be able to draw some money. But Colorado doesn't have the biggest purse in the game. So your argument is really flawed because you're thinking that Colorado has, for your argument to make sense, Jesse Whitlock, for your argument to land and to have credence, that means that Colorado has one of the biggest purses in college football and is just buying up all the talent in the world, and that's why they're starting to dominate. But we all know that that's not the case, right? We've been doing this, right? Isn't that right? We've been doing this. And I want to say thank you so much for the super chat. But Indiana was 3-9 last year. They're 7-0 this year. That's impressive. Oh, yeah, that's later on in the video. He says this later on in the video. You're kind of ahead of me. But that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, you can't have it both ways. You're trying to paint a picture, Jason Whitlock. You're trying to paint a picture that Colorado has one of the biggest purses in college football, and you're not impressed with Coach Prime because he's buying talent and he's just using all the money he got to buy talent, but he doesn't have the biggest purse. If that was the case, then maybe you will have some type of credence to what you're saying. But your argument is flawed because Coach Prime doesn't have the biggest purse. Coach Prime literally has dollar store budget when it comes to other programs. But the thing that's working for him is his relationship with people, his leadership skill as a real man, right? Who understands what he got, what he doesn't have, and uses his potential, uses everything that he has to his ability, uses his God-given ability. If you're a Christian, let's dig into that a little bit. If you're a Christian, you don't move this way. We don't naturally hate people for no reason. Now you have nothing to stand on and you're making things up. So you don't get to say, this is why I hate him, but then you say everybody else is doing it. It doesn't make sense. You feel me out there, people? These people got to be exposed because, I mean, there are people. You saw the Dan Le Batard commentator that just says, I hate him. I don't want this to work. At least that guy is honest. He just straight up says it. I hate him. I don't like their fans. I don't like him. Bro, just say you don't like Prime. But don't stop disguising it as a football thing. You don't get to do that anymore. Colorado took a couple of L's, Nebraska and K-State. We're playing good football. Just acknowledge it. Just like everybody else, acknowledge it. What you should have done is what everybody else did that I called out earlier when I said, keep in mind that there are people around here that are working in the media, and what they do is they try to disguise their hate so well that they can come back when Colorado rights the ship. So now that Colorado's righting the ship, they don't sound like a hater anymore. Now they just sound like it was football all along. Jason Whitlock went too far. He was at a point of no return. And now he got caught. He got caught slipping. This is a classic getting caught slipping, getting caught with your pants down. That's the classic getting caught slipping and getting caught with your pants down. That I'm coming to see you, fan, and Tim, I got y'all. I'm sorry I didn't look at the email earlier. This is what you get caught. You're getting caught with your pants down. You can't go. You can't. What are you going to say at this point when you've hated so much that now you're at a place where you can't go back from that? Now your audience is expecting you to say something, and you're like, I'm not impressed. This is fool's gold. They're buying players. Oh, he's not recruiting. He doesn't know how to recruit. All he's doing is just buying players, and that's why he's winning. So don't buy it, guys. Don't buy it. Deion Sanders is fool's gold. And then you turn around and say, but everybody's doing it.
Well, okay. So let's judge everybody on this new standard. Is what Deion's doing, is it as impressive as what the Zignetti's doing over at Indiana University? They're 7-0.
So is your argument that Prime is not 7-0? Is that the argument? Is that what you really want to do? Really, what you really want to say? So 5-2, coming from 4-8 the year prior, and now eclipsing your win total of last year. You can't be impressed with that as a new coach in Power 4? I mean, I don't understand. Like, you tell me. Like, you got to explain yourself at a certain point. Like, I know people just know you as a natural hater, but you're also a Christian man. And Christians don't move like this, my guy. Christians don't just find hate in people for no reason. Like, I have a reason for the people that I hate, and people know who I hate on this channel. Like, the people that know this channel, they know who I hate. Type it in the comments if you know who I hate. I don't want to say it because I don't want to go there right now. But y'all know who I hate. And with every blood and every fiber in my being, I hate this person for the right reason. But if they were to do something good, I'll be like, that's good. So my hate for them has a lot to do with something that I'm standing on, but you have nothing. Now you're saying what's going on at Indiana, you like it because they're 7-0? So you have to be undefeated for, is that, let me bring on Tim, because I don't know. Maybe I need to I can't do this show by myself. I need to ask questions. Tim, welcome to the channel, my guy. You know how thank you, man. Welcome, brother. You know I appreciate you, man. How you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing well, brother. I see you on one, but I'm doing well.
Yeah, well, I told you I was going to pull everybody's card this year, and that I got to. And I think we are at the right we at the right point in the season. I can start, bringing out some receipts. I haven't conceded everything yet. I'm not saying we've arrived, but we are at a good place where these type of okay. Let me just ask you a question. Okay, maybe I lack understanding when somebody says, "But look at what's happening at Indiana. They're 7-0." Am I missing it, or does it sound like you have to be undefeated for him to be impressed?
Jason Whitlock
is that what it sounds like?
No. Jason Whitlock is a bona fide hater. Like, I can't say can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to say that I hate the man, because hate is such a strong word.
You mean Jason?
Yeah, Jason Whitlock.
I don't necessarily know him, so I can't really. I don't hate him, but right. I just want to know if I'm missing something when he tries to articulate what he means by Coach Prime. What he's doing is fool's gold. He's not impressed because they're buying players, and he says, "Okay, if we're going to judge everything, then let's judge them, and let's judge them by the standards of Indiana. They're 7-0." So I'm interpreting that as if you're going to buy players, you have to be undefeated or he won't be impressed. Did I miss that? Or is that what he's saying?
No, that's what he's saying. And I feel like, my opinion, based off the whole transition of Coach Prime coming to Colorado, I feel like this is what he has to go to now, because Colorado is winning. Colorado is developing. Colorado is doing all the things that other programs are doing, even with the NIL. And Coach Prime and them, like you said, they don't have that bag.
Right.
So
we don't have the biggest bag. Even in the Big 12, we're not the biggest bag holders.
No, we're not by far.
Right.
But so what Prime is
we're in the deficit.
exactly. Now the communities around it, they making money. The school is generating a lot of money too. But as far as NIL, they don't have that bag yet.
Right. That's what I thought. Because we've reported on this channel that Colorado is in the deficit, in the red. Because the money that comes out of the NIL it comes out of NIL, it comes to every sport that Colorado has at that level. So it's not just going to the football program, it's going to all of the teams that they have.
All of the athletics that they have at CU, correct.
So okay, let's bring on CU fan. I know he's been waiting. Like I said, I'm taking my time today, man. This new time slot, I get like an hour behind to go in a little bit. So let's bring him on. CU fan, welcome to the show.
Points on that too.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna let you cook. Welcome to the show, CU fan. How you doing today? I appreciate you calling in.
Thank you for having me, Harry. And to everybody, panel and the chat, thank you. Always checking out what you guys are doing. Saw you were early today, and I said, hey, let me jump in. I was dropping off my little girl from school when I saw your notification.
Okay. So let me let Tim finish his thought, and then I'll let you come in. Go ahead, Tim.
No, I was just gonna say that, Coach Prime stated last season, you better get me now, right? I feel like that went to everybody that was hating on him, especially Jason Whitlock. Like, his playbook that he was using for last season, he noticing that he can't use that same playbook this season. So now he's trying to come up with something else that sticks. No different than what Trump does. He's trying to throw stuff out there that stick, because we talked about this on your show, that hate and negative moves the needle.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, now
when you no longer have the hate, then something else has to develop.
Yes, exactly. But I like what Paul Feinbaum said. He pretty much apologized.
Oh, he did? I didn't see that one.
Yeah, you got to go on and see it. He was on with Shannon Sharp. He pretty much conceived, like, okay,
I was
Prime,
wrong.
yes, he yes, bro. Yeah. Like, Prime, yes, he's flashy. We know him for this or whatever. Oh, he can't coach or whatever. Oh, he's not gonna be able to do it on the Power 4 level, coming from an HBCU. Now that everybody's seeing it, it's like, okay, hold up. He's winning. He's not even talking a lot like he did last season.
Right. He didn't rub two sentences together like last season. Like, he's not.
Exactly. He pretty much like, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you.
And for this guy to say, and then he put FOOL on Deion's shirt with the gold chain, and those has implications as well. Like, oh, he don't like coaches wearing gold chain, gold to be flashy like that, and he just put fool on his shirt, like Scoop Brooklyn is saying. And I want to say, Joe Perry, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. He said, going through Whitlock content that deals with Coach Prime, this is deeper than hating. Whitlock has attacked a man, even on personal levels. It's crazy. CU fan, like we're not missing this, right? Like, this is, when it comes to this type of hate, like, this is next level. I'm too far in, I'm too far gone. So now I gotta lean in a little bit harder, because what am I gonna say? If I start liking this guy and then he starts to take a nosedive, then I gotta come back and start hating him again. Like, am I missing something here, or is this guy really just leaning into his hate that he has, and he's just looking foolish now?
So, I mean, I got a few pointers on this. Jason Whitlock is just a man that's desperate. He's desperate for views, so he finds a narrative, and the narrative is to basically hate on Coach Prime. And his level of hate is not like critique. Like when you critique Prime and you tell him, "Hey, you're doing something wrong. You know, you should fix it." You know, that's critiquing him. No, his level is just pure hate, in a sense of like, I want to destroy this man. This man, I don't like what he represents. I don't like
But he a
how he's
Christian
doing
too,
things.
doing that.
No, that man is not a Christian. Whitlock
He's
is
a
not
what I'm
false
saying, like-
prophet.
He's not a Christian.
He calls himself a Christian, bro.
No. If you want to talk biblical,
But let me just say,
Biblical-
it's not up to us. It's not up to us to not call to say he's not a Christian. The only thing I can judge
No,
is how
no,
he's
no, the
moving.
Bible's-
I cannot
no.
call him not a Christian. That's not my place. Because whatever
no,
he
we
has
can't.
with God, that's not me to say he's not.
We can, because the Bible speaks of us recognizing each other, who we are as Christians, and that man is not a Christian. So to me,
Okay, good.
to me, that person right there represents something far beyond what a Christian is supposed to be. Because you can talk to a brother and say, "Hey, brother, you know, I don't think you're doing this right, and you know, you're wrong here." And you could correct that person, and if that person was willing to correct it, then you move forward with it. But in this case, this person, Whitlock, he's not doing that. The way he speaks to someone is like hate, beyond hate. And that type of hate, a Christian will never say that to another brother that is going through stuff. Why would you beat a Christian down when he's going through stuff? In this case, Prime had a bad first year, and he's trying to continue the narrative to hit him while he's down. Now that he has success,
Right.
his success is like, oh well, I got to figure out how to, continue the narrative or change it in a way that makes me look good. And Tim said this about Trump. Trump does the exact same thing. If you saw, he was in McDonald's the other day working as as a person that takes the orders, and it's kind of like, there it is. He's trying to change the narrative that I'm a guy that represents, the people. So it's the same thing. Whitlock, he's doing it for views. He's doing it to change the narrative. This man does not care about who he destroys. And in this case, he's just trying to destroy Prime.
Let's listen a little bit more before I bring on Coach McKinney. Just a few more seconds of this, because I'm looking at this, and for you to pull FOOL, I'm spelling it out. For you to pull "fool" on a man's shirt, graphic, and you're leaning into something saying you're not impressed. His winning is fool's gold. When the Indiana coach goes out and spends money to get players to come in to play for him, the same way that Coach Prime in Colorado did. I don't know where you're going with it. I don't know my cognitive understanding, like my brain, like, bruh, I don't get it. It's just as simple as I don't understand how you're trying to explain this.
And they just beat the brakes off of Nebraska like 56-7. Nebraska's the same team that ran the ball down Colorado's throat and beat them, I believe, 28-7.
It's football.
Deion and Colorado are benefiting from playing in a very suspect and weak Big 12.
Wait, what? Okay, I think I'm done with this. I can't do it no more. I'm done with that. Let's bring on Coach McKinney, because I can't with Jason Whitlock anymore, because he's not. I wish he would articulate what he means, because just like, we hate certain politicians or we hate somebody, I would still listen to them to see if they're making sense. But at this point, nothing he's saying is making sense. Coach McKinney, please tell me if he's making sense and I'm not, and I'm missing it in my lack of understanding. Please help me. But welcome to the show, brother. How you doing today? Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you, man. Are you there, Coach McKinney? You might have to unmute. If you're not unmuted or if you're not ready, let's continue, and then you just come in when you're ready. But Tim, is he explaining this well, or
No, he's not. He's a false prophet. He's a false prophet, man. And it's almost like how can I explain this? Okay, without going too biblical. They hated Jesus. They crucified him. Right?
mm-hmm.
Okay. Coach Prime, they trying to crucify him because they do not want him to succeed. Jason Whitlock, in my opinion, is a coon. And you know, I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but
yeah, I know what a coon is.
Okay, he's a coon, bro, and and he will do any and everything for self-likeness. Self-likeness.
Yeah. Explain that a little bit. What do you mean by self-likeness?
Okay, he wants
it seems like he don't like himself. It seems like he's a self-hater.
He wants to be, like CU fan said, he wants to be relevant. He wants likes. I guess for me, I pay attention to the way the world evolves or how it's evolving. People will go the extreme for a like, for someone to hit that like button. Right? I understand it from a YouTube perspective because you're trying to generate revenue. Now,
right,
from Instagram, Facebook, people go broke behind a like. People will do anything.
And I'm not even on Facebook anymore. I don't even know what's happening on Facebook. But I think Facebook they own Instagram, right? They bought out Instagram. No, and now they do this thing where you have to pay for your Instagram. You can boost your Instagram. And I'm always telling people, I'm like, listen, you got to be very careful when the company that has a platform where you're supposed to naturally gain audience, they have a pay option for you to boost posts. Because if that's the case, then what is the incentive of them just letting your page grow naturally and organically when they would not put you in front of everybody because they want you to have to boost it? So for those two things to exist, that's fool's gold. But for Love and Liberty to say Whitlock is the Sam Jackson character from Django, and he's a white guy, yo, if a white guy says you're Django, you know it's bad when they start calling you Django. Oh, somebody. Hey, Coach McKinney, you ready, man?
Yes, sir. Had a little problem with my microphone. Apologize.
It's all good. Go ahead. You go first, and then I'll bring DC on. He's waiting in the green room.
All right. So let's start with the first part of the conversation. You're talking about self-hating. If you remember, when Coach Prime first took the job,
before you go, let me take this guy off my screen. I don't want this guy. I don't want to be staring at this guy. He's a weirdo. Go ahead.
All right. When Coach Prime first took the job, and everybody asked him why he left Jackson State and came to Colorado, because he said the work was done. He did all he could do at Jackson State. A lot of people got mad about it because they thought he was going to be there for 10 years. He never said he was going to be there for a certain amount of time. He was there to bring more light to Jackson State and HBCU schools. Well, now that light is shining because we still talk about somewhat HBCU schools. We still pay attention to HBCU schools a little bit more than we had been before Coach Prime went to Jackson State. Now we fast forward to Colorado. He said, I would never take a job anywhere, or God would never place me somewhere that's just going to be a place that already is established. He's going to place me somewhere where he can work on me. Well, that's was the worst place he could have went, to a school that was the worst school in college football statistically and recordly over the last several years. So now, if you say if when you sit back and you look at yourself as a Christian and you look at God and you say, okay, what is God doing to Coach Prime in Colorado? Well, they crucified him last year because he went 4-8. But Prime never wavered. He kept doing the work. He kept doing the things the way he believed in it and kept talking the same way he talked about it. Everybody wants to say Prime was talking too much last year. No, he was bringing more light to the school because he had to get out there so that these kids would at least take a look at him, at least take a chance on him, at least listen to his recruiters and take trips to Colorado. Now you fast forward this year, and now he, like he said, he went out and got all the skills players and defensive backs first before he got the big boys, because he said, if I can show that we got the talent, now it's easier to bring them big boys in, because we can say, look, you see what was hurting at. That's why I'm coming to get you. That's why I'm recruiting like a Jordan Seaton. So now when you look at Colorado, last in defense last year and the year before that, for the last 3 years up into this season. Last in offense for the last several years up into this season. The worst team in college football for the last several years. Now you look at this year, they're one of the top programs in the country. They're probably in the top 25 once they beat Cincinnati this week. Their defense is ranked in the top 25 and the top 5 in their conference. Their offense is ranked in the top 15 in the nation and the top 3 in their conference. And they are winning games the same way he did at Jackson State with his kids. He doesn't have the biggest budgets like the other schools are. So what Jason Whitlock was talking about, he's just stupid. But when we want to get on Jason Whitlock, here's the problem with Jason Whitlock. He has nowhere else to go, y'all. The man used
All right,
to
you
be on
got 30.
ESPN.
You got 30 seconds. Let's cap it at 30 more seconds. Go ahead.
All right. He was at ESPN. He lost his job at ESPN. He was on Fox. He lost his job at Fox. He has nowhere else to go, and the man he's trying to find a way to stream up some type of revenue, because the man about to be bankrupt and be broke. If you think about it, no one wants to listen to him no more. So when he come up with these outlandish sayings and talk about people, he's just trying to find a way to drum up revenue for himself so he can survive, because he's burnt so many bridges. He'll never go back to Fox. He'll definitely never go back to ESPN, and no one really listens to him. So if I say something outlandish, at least somebody might click on it, and that click will help me get more clicks. So that's why I stand on all that.
All right, cool. Okay, DC, welcome to the show, brother. I appreciate you calling in as always. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great. I got just a few minutes before I'm about to go into a board meeting, but I needed to come on this channel and say, hey, to the TLP Nation and the CU Nation, my prediction about Colorado was wrong. Y'all did a great job. You smoked Arizona. I was way off. So I want to salute and stand up as a man, stand on business. I didn't call that. But they did good. That was a great game. Notice the game that we saw with them for UCF, they showed up. So kudos. Y'all can bring this smoke for probably about 2 minutes. And then I got something I want to say, and then I'm out. Go ahead.
You say you got something to say? Go ahead, say it.
Oh, okay. Coach McKinney, I get what you're saying. I'm gonna pick me having gone to HBCU. Ain't no pain in my voice conversation, but the thing is, I'm trying to make sure I'm around the corner so nobody won't hear me having this conversation.
Hey,
the thing
common
is,
sense Buck says
yes.
you can hear the pain in your voice.
Oh no, ain't no pain in my voice. The pain in my voice is not that, it's this. All right, Coach McKinney, I haven't gone to Alabama State. Here's what I would say: HBCUs have a special place in my heart. I do have a bone to pick with Coach Prime on that. It's one thing when you say that he was using it to move up. But when you make the statement, I'm here to uplift HBCUs, nobody in their right mind with 5 ounces of intelligence will know you can do that in 3 years. That is a 7 or 8 year thing. So if Coach Prime wanted to leave, I salute him and I'm all for that. But to say I'm here to uplift HBCUs, there was no way you were going to do that within 3 years. And then I would be honest with you, a lot of people did not go abandon the HBCUs they abandoned it for Colorado.
I got pushback, bro.
Bring it.
Yeah. All right.
Me too, Harry.
Yeah, y'all. You remember Obama when he went to the White House, and he was very like enthusiastic, and he was he was exuberant, and he had some black hair, a lot of black hair on his head, and he was very energetic in trying to bring about change, and he was the change agent. You remember what happened to him after his first year when all of his hair turned gray? You know why that happened to him?
That don't whatever he did, that doesn't change the fact of what was said and what was done. I
Well,
get what
that's
you're
one right.
saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I want to articulate. I want you to understand one thing. You can be excited and you can have ideas to bring about change. The thing about change is you can't do it alone. You need people to bring about that change. And then there are other agents, other aspects of that's going. There are other things that are going to be in your way to bring about that change. And you got to also acknowledge, and I hope you are an intelligent man, and I hope you understand this point I'm about to make right now. We black people are the hardest people to deal with. And when it comes to us dealing with each other, I'm going to repeat that because it's worth repeating. We black people, we are some of the hardest people to deal with, especially when it comes to us dealing with each other. I say that to say I believe what Coach Prime said, and I don't think you need that much discernment to read his face and his frustration in his voice when he was speaking about why he left. Things he could not say because you know the type of man that he is. He ain't going to be throwing people under the bus. He may do a certain amount of it, but as much as he knows that he can do with his integrity. So Coach Prime was not going to let everything out the bag. But what I discerned from his voice, he had to deal with some black folk that were not doing the right thing. And that sometimes is the hardest thing to deal with when you are a change agent. And you can answer
Again,
before I give it back to Coach.
I'm going to sit here and say this as far as that, because I don't want to take away from what the awesome things Coach Prime is doing. What I am going to sit here and say is that I still run in circles with people who are HBCU presidents. Also have an understanding of that, athletic directors, all that kind of stuff. Y'all have heard me say the coach at Alabama State. I was there at the same time, know him, as well as others.
DC, before you finish, let me ask you a question. Add this to what you're about to say.
Yes.
Do you believe a man as confident and as boisterous and with his stature like Prom is, do you think it was possible that he lasted with black folk? I'm just going to use the general term, not even Jackson State. Do you think it was possible that he would last with those black folk in Jackson?
I think that it was possible. What I'm going to say to you is that when we look at it, then we can get back to football, or let listen to Coach McKinney, and then I'll come back on after I get out the meeting. But here's the thing. What I hear you guys saying, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't particularly. I think that what my concern is that the tendency in this community is to only look at it from my Care for Prime's perspective, but not realizing two things can be true. They could be to a point where they had their issues, which is known that they do, but not realizing that there were also other issues on the other side. So at the end of the day is we're going to have those. But if we sit back and we say, I'm coming in to help, then that means that you have to understand it. There's a cross behind it. But what I can say is I celebrate the fact that at least he was, and I think we all should celebrate that, at least he was willing to go into something that was going to take a long time. And I salute him for that 100%. I just think that one time I see people that will say things about HBCUs and not understanding the whole depth from the funding, the other things, because yes, and the things that we should be supporting HBCUs a lot more than what we do. That's kind of where I'm coming from.
All right. Okay. Coach McKinney, go ahead, because I think I have another thing to add to that, but go ahead, Coach.
Okay.
And before I bring on East Coast Cavs, so East Coast Cavs, just hold on for a little bit. Go ahead.
All right. For me, the thing with the HBCU
I'm
schools,
sorry. I got to handle the business. East Coast Cav, thank you so much for the super chat. You're always I appreciate you, man, and coming on the show. I also appreciate you. But just hold on for a second. Go ahead.
all right. The whole thing with the HBCU schools and Coach Prime, if you listen to one of his interviews he did with Earn Leisure, he went into details about a little bit about what was going on at Jackson State. You cannot be mad at him when he's trying to change things and make it better. When the school themselves, the president themselves, one is stealing money from the man. The man wasn't looking to get rich, but if you promise me a salary, then pay me my salary. And if I tell you, hey, I'll take a little bit less on the front end to get more on the back end, you can't come back and be dirty and on the back end say, oh, well, we didn't sell that many tickets like we said, or like they said we did. We gave away tickets. Now you put, like he said in his interview, no, now you're in my pockets because I gave up less in the front so that you can grow and have more. So for him to go through the things he was going through and then took his last salary check from them to help finish up the football facility that they have at Jackson State and furnish it and stuff out of his own pocket. I think everybody's being hypocritical when you want to sit and talk junk or be mad at him for what he was trying to do at HBC schools when a lot of black folks don't give 2 cents about HBCU schools, or they don't even donate back into HBCU schools.
Okay, I don't know if your mic went, but I hear DC, and this is what I'm hearing when he said the cross part. And sometimes it's hard to have this conversation because I'm like, should we lean on individuals to bear the cross of the community when God has put them in position to be blessed? How much should we lean on them? Right? Because I think we had this conversation not too long ago, maybe a couple of months ago, or maybe a little bit of time in the summertime. But how much can we lean on individuals? Because when
can I speak on this?
Sure, but give me 1 second. When individuals break the barrier, okay. All right, just a second. When individuals break the barrier and they become successful, the question is, how much can we really lean on them, or how much should we lean on them? Because again, they are individuals, and it takes a village. That's the African parable, the African parable. It takes a village, right? And but I hear what DC is saying. If we know our community is not where it's at, or is not as other communities, if you are blessed enough to be in a position, know the cross that you're about to bear, and be patient. But we also have to ask the question: should we put so much weight on individuals, because that's all they are just individuals, and it's going to take all of us. And like Coach McKinney said, he did a lot. So how much more can we ask of one man? But let me bring on East Coast before I give it a CU fan. Let me bring on East Coast because you've been waiting in the green room. East Coast Cav, welcome to the show, brother. I appreciate you. How you doing today?
Brother Harry B, praise the Lord. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Praise the Lord.
You might want to, because you know why this HBCU argument pisses me off so bad. I promise you, you better clip this one and put it on World Star, because I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, I'm gonna get straight to it, baby, because it's about to be. Oh boy, let me tell you something.
Please. PG-13.
I'll do that. I'll try. I wish DC didn't leave though. But let me tell you something.
He got a board meeting.
Yeah, he better get there, because if he stayed on, it would have been a problem. So look, let me just tell you something. Be honest with you, Deion Sanders sold out the HBCUs because the HBCUs sold out Deion Sanders. We have a problem in our community where we had this Messiah complex. I'm talking to black people, so any white folks in the chat, don't take this personal. You still my guys. But we have a problem in our community with this Messiah stuff and this one-man savior complex where we want one man to do all the work do all the grounding and pounding, and then we can sit back and collect the checks. Okay, all of HBCUs should have galvanized. If they wanted Deion so bad, all of HBCUs should have galvanized around him and gave him the support that he needed. I'm sick of this complex where we want to depend on one man to do everything, and it's the reason why we don't get anywhere. We want to depend on one man to do everything and sit back and collect the benefits. No, Deion Sanders saw the BS and he bounced. Okay, he saw that, and look at what he's doing. I can tell you right now, as a person that gambles, this is the first time that I've ever seen on FanDuel where you can gamble on HBCU games. You know why that's happening? The prime effect. You can actually have game day, ESPN, still going. They were just there. I think it was at Howard University. Still going to this day to HBCUs. Why? Because of the prime effect. Not because they like being there. It's because the prime effect. He did that. So to this day, he's hired HBCU coaches. He's hired them. Vincent Danzig came from an HBCU. What's his name? The recruiter guy, Respers. He came from an HBCU.
Yeah,
Some of those players,
FAMU,
like
right?
the new quarterback, the Dominique Ponder kid, came from an HBCU. He's creating jobs still to this day. In my Deontay Wilder voice, to this day, he's creating jobs and opportunities for HBCUs. And I'm sick of this. It's never enough for black people nonsense. Okay, this man, if it wasn't for Deion Sanders being there,
I got 30 seconds.
I didn't even care about an HBCU. And most of us didn't. We didn't care about that. And so he got there and shined a light on him. Now I can actually watch a little bit of Jackson State with the coach there now. Thank Deion Sanders for putting that light on HBCUs. Now it's time for him to move on like any other coach. Now, if it was a white coach, how many people would have came up against him for leaving HBCU? But because he's black and because he's one of us and we like to cry racism all the time, now all of a sudden Deion Sanders is considered a sellout. Okay, he's a sellout because you sold him out. Now put that on your World Star and clip that and put it on World Star. That's all I wanted to say. You got the mic.
I just want to say this to East Coast Cav. Hey, I do care about HBCUs because I actually attended a HBCU and graduated from it.
Not you. I mean, look, if it don't apply, let it fly. You know what we say in our community. If it don't apply, let it fly. But the majority of us didn't care about HBCUs, and the proof is in the funding that goes into HBCUs. Nobody, the alum doesn't give money back. They don't. So the thing is,
a lot of us don't make that much money to give back. We don't get the best jobs. We're working in our communities. We're working. We usually don't have that much money to give back. Sometimes we're like hand to mouth. So I do understand that part of the conversation. But let's see.
Hey, Harry, let me drop. Hey, can I drop something before CU fan starts?
Hey, CU fan, you don't mind? Go ahead, Tim. He don't mind.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. When it comes to all this, you absolutely right, East Coast Cav. You right, Harry. When it comes to HBCUs and the communities not pouring back into the university. Jackson State is in Jackson, Mississippi. So therefore, what is the economy like in Mississippi? I'm pretty sure we all know what the economy looks like there for African Americans. You know what I mean? So if you're not working for Nissan or you're not a doctor or lawyer, etc., then you just out there in the woods. Okay? Now, when it comes to this funding issue, money is issued to the state. The state issue that money out to the universities that come from the Obamas and whomever is in office. If the state is not giving them their fair share of funds, the HBCUs have to fight the states for that income, for that revenue. If they not getting it, now they like, say for instance, they may set aside, I'm just hypothetically speaking, $30 million for the HBCUs in that state. And say for instance, Jackson State was supposed to receive 15,000, but they only received 5. So now they only got 5,000 to work with. And lawyers fighting for the rest of it. Those things exist.
Hey Tim,
So
can I ask you a question? I
There's
don't mean to cut you off.
There's money there, but the community ain't always got to be the one to fund it when the funding is there. But go
Tim,
ahead.
can I make a statement to what you said?
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but let me tell you something. Whether you like that, these HBCUs are getting money. Let me tell you what's happening. In my opinion, these folks stealing. That's the bottom line. How does Jackson State? How does Jackson State in 13 years have 7 presidents, different presidents? These people stealing. Even Donald Trump, whether you like him or love him, that's neither here nor there. Even he gave millions of dollars to HBCUs. They're getting money. What needs to happen is what Coach Prime said himself. There needs to be an audit to see exactly what's going on, where that money is going,
And
what's
that's
it
what I'm
going
saying,
to.
East Coast Cab. I'm not trying to interrupt you. That's exactly what I'm saying. Donald Trump has given money to HBCUs. Obama has given. All the presidents have given money, but that money don't go directly to the university. That money goes to the state. Then the state issues that money to the universities.
All right, let me get CU fan to chime in here. Go
I'm
ahead,
gonna drop
CU fan.
off, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks for coming on, brother.
Take care, man. God bless you.
Well, I don't want to speak too much on it because there's a lot of been said, and I imagine you want to move on to a different subject. But what I will say is, you got to understand the funding of schools is beyond just donations. It's basically on a political level where some people don't understand how the money is distributed, but there's pockets being filled just to keep quiet, to do, be a Uncle Tom or be a person that will do the things that other people will say. It's just one of those things that, I mean, I can get in so deep politically, but I don't want to. But it's a disgusting world, and unfortunately, we're going to see it continue because no one. Look at what Prime tried doing. Prime tried correcting it a certain way, and he didn't. I mean, he might have gone a different way that other people don't agree, but he was doing something to bring light to it. And as soon as someone was bringing light to the situation, a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people started making political decisions on that. And as much as you might think football political, what do you mean? There's a lot of politics involved to it.
Yeah, I mean, TLP send me the link. You got an email. So if you want to join the show, Ron, I already sent you the link. If you want to chime in, guys, the link, the email to call in is right there on your screen. Join TLPlive@gmail.com. Join TLPlive@gmail.com. Just make sure you check your spelling. Ron Tate, welcome to the show, brother. I appreciate you. How you doing today?
Hey, thanks for having me, Harry.
For sure, man.
There's quite a bit going on. Morristown, New Jersey is not too far from New York. I just want you to know that.
Okay.
I'll send out bits and pieces later.
Okay.
Anyway, there's been a lot said about HBCUs and the opportunities and the lack of opportunities that some of these college or university presidents have to deal with. But I want to get back to CU right now.
Okay.
Because Dr. Frankenstein was a brilliant man, and Dr. Jekyll was a brilliant man. we don't, as fans, we don't have to be Jekyll and Hyde or Dr. Frankenstein and Monster Frankenstein. We just have to take a deep breath and believe what most of the pundits are saying now. CU is a good team. The defense is borderline exceptional, and we have a good team now. So it's okay to expect us to win.
Borderline, right? I like the choice of terminology or word. Borderline exceptional.
Yeah. We're a couple more pieces. We have this year. We have.
Let's talk about those pieces. What pieces do we need?
What pieces do we need?
What pieces do we need?
I think we need a very good backup quarterback, and if Shedeur leaves, we're going to need someone to step up. I like the left-handed tall guy. I don't know his name. I
thought you were talking about the defense. You said the defense was borderline.
Was borderline exceptional?
What pieces do we need to make it exceptional?
To leave the art of being exceptional and borderline exceptional, just consistency. You know, they're laying that track record and it out. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, your audio is breaking up. Your audio is breaking up a little bit. But you're not saying. You're saying we just need to make some adjustments. Hey, Ron, hang up and try again. Hang up and try again because your audio is now sounding crazy.
Can you? Well, it's because I'm driving. That's why. It's
okay. Now
it's going to go in and out. I apologize.
It's okay.
But did you get my point? I was saying that they continue to play Arizona type games, and they will be considered an exceptional team, not borderline, but an exceptional defense.
Okay.
Here's a question, Fran. What pieces are you talking about? Are you talking about future pieces, or are you talking about pieces now?
Well, I don't think I was that point was future, but right now with them being borderline exceptional, they've proven now with some of the backups that they have now that they have someone that they can put in the game and be confident that they're going to make plays. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. The borderline exceptionalism comes in with them having games like the Arizona game over and over, week in and week out.
So speaking of the Arizona game, Arizona now they lost Jacob Manu and their linebacker. They lost somebody on their line. So I think Arizona is about to get worse. So one of their two top players is now no longer a part of that team. Brian Howard just tweeted that on Twitter. So I just wanted to just give that little bit of a headsy to anybody out there.
Did they lose him through injury or he left the team?
Let me see. I think it's injury. It says Arizona linebacker Jacob Manu and left tackle Rhino Tapa are out for the season.
Injury.
Says.
It's injury. Yeah. They both got hurt in that game. That was injury.
Yeah, so they're out for the season.
And I want to put out an APB for DC. I know he said he was in a PTA meeting. He had to go and because he sits on the board.
He said a board meeting. That was so dirty.
So hopefully I just can't. Every time I get on, he gets off, or I just missed him. I need to speak with him. Going back to the Baylor game. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting patiently, and I'm like Coach Prime.
Uh-huh.
I got time now, so I'm waiting.
You got time today.
I'm waiting patiently for you, right, DC.
So let me let's get into this part of the show. Okay. we have the mic now. We got the mic back. You'll remember in the preseason, I kept saying the haters got the mic because obviously Coach Prime and his team did not successfully execute everything they wanted to execute last year. So the not just the haters, but the naysayers, the butters, and a lot of people, you know, their critiques and their articulation of how Colorado is, they had the mic for a long time. And I kept saying to you guys, hey guys, we need that microphone back. I believe Coach Prime, after the Kansas State game, they got their microphone. They gave us the microphone back. Now, where does it go from here? I don't want us to overly I don't want us to be overly confident, but I think now we can sit back and enjoy Colorado football and know who's going to show up. We know the offense is going to show up, but we've been consistently seeing the defense. So where do we go here? Where do we go from here? And we can start with, let's see. Well, Coach McKinney, let's start with you guys. Let's do 30 minutes because we have a big panel. So where do we go from here without being overly confident? How do we critique Colorado right now? Now that we got the mic, are we going to be acting like those guys that had the mic, or do we move? Yeah, how do we move? Because now that we got the microphone back, how do we move?
Harry, if you remember the beginning of the season when you first started, or when you started live conversation for this upcoming season, remember in the beginning we said, just be patient, because we saw, all of us that were true diehard Colorado fans, we saw the moves they made during the summer. We saw them bringing in better quality guys that were starters, guys that wasn't happy at their situation, but they were stars on their team, and so forth. So we kept saying it's going to take time for them to gel. They're going to be all right. And then when they took the loss to Nebraska, everybody, a lot of bandwagon buffs act like they ain't going, like the sky had fallen. But the true fans, like me and you and a few other guys that's on the panel, we kept saying, no, it ain't over. We're going to be all right. After the Baylor game, people still act like the sky was falling. Now that we're winning, everybody's starting to see what we kept saying all along. I think you still do the same thing you've been doing. You don't say you stay the course. You don't over exaggerate or over blow up a win, no matter how big of it is or how small it is. You just stay the course and you stay consistent. I always use this phrase and I'll be done. What made Michael Jordan great? And I tell people this all the time. What made Michael Jordan great wasn't the fact that he hit the jump shot, the winning jump shot in the fourth quarter with 3 seconds. It's the fact that same shot he did 20 times throughout the game, and he was consistent. That's all Colorado got to do, is stay consistent with what they're doing. Continue offensive line, continue to get better. Defensive line, continue to hunt. Those young guys, because now Prime is starting to see we got guys that we could put in, and these guys are competing even more now for their playing time, because they know if I come out the game, the next guy comes in like a Hood that came in at corner. Preston Hodge may not see the field that much no more, because Hood looked like a stud. He looked like a shutdown corner. He's had 2 interceptions in the last 2 games. Same way with the offensive line. They brought Cash in at center, and he looked it good for a quarter and a half at center. So the kid that was the original starter, now he's on his P's and Q's, because he know if I F up, they're going to put this next guy in and take my job. And that was the environment Coach Prime was trying to get them to produce all along. Be afraid of the person behind you, because if you don't go out and give your best, that guy behind you is going to take your job, because that's what the NFL is all about. So just stay the course and be consistent.
All right. I see that. All right, CU fan. Where does we got the microphone back, CU fan? We took our microphone back from the naysayers, the haters, the overly critiquing people. How do we treat this microphone now that we got it back?
Well, they're still going to be there. I mean, no matter how we look at it, they're still going to be there. But the way we critique it, the Colorado is basically just, there's small mistakes that are still happening. So, I mean, they're correctable. So example, is Prime still evolving? Is he getting better as a coach? And that, we still see mistakes. I mean, one of the mistakes that we saw was his decision to down it on the last series and give it back to them. with like, I don't know, I think it was like a minute and a half still left on the clock. I mean, we could have kicked the field goal, and we
I
could
think
have,
they were just excited. I think that was just
Well, yeah.
excited mistake. That was not
that- that-
anything big.
but it, regardless, it was a mistake. I mean, you as a coach, you still have to make decisions, and in that case, your excitement took over what was, a decision that, hey, let's kick the field goal, then he can have it back. But that wasn't the case. A mistake. He's evolving. He's moving forward. He has to correct that, because if he makes the same mistake again, then he's not moving forward. Has he corrected a lot of his mistakes as a coach? Yeah, absolutely. I've seen him move forward. I mean, look, it's not. Shador is not putting those big numbers as he was during the beginning of the season. He got 250 yards or something like that this last week, because the ground game was good. The ground game is working. And to me, those are the things that I see. There are small critiques that we need to make sure that Colorado is aware. Hey, we need to correct this. I mean, we can't have it done again. And if they're not fixing it, then of course we're going to
hold
critique
up.
again.
So we got the microphone back, and you the way that you want us to use our microphone is to knick-knack, paddywhack, critique our way. I don't know if I want. If I'm I can't ride with you on this one, because they had the mic the entire summer. All right. After last year, they had the microphone for the entire time and throughout the whole summer. So you're telling me we get the microphone back and we can't boast a little bit? We gotta knick-knack our way out of it with
There's
the mic.
a difference, though. If you give the mic to Whitlock, then I'm going to take it away. What I'm saying is, I'm
saying we got the mic now. We won the microphone back.
But just like how we have to keep an offense or defense honest, we have to make sure that we keep Colorado honest. I mean, it's like, if you give it to Whitlock, where he's demonizing Prime, then we're never going to be able to move forward.
But Whitlock is not a fan, though. Whitlock, why would the fans give Whitlock the mic? The fan, I'm saying we got the mic back.
But we have the mic.
The Whitlocks and people had the microphone already.
But it's time to I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not time to celebrate, because I am celebrating. But it is time not to jump at it and say we can't do anything wrong, because we can, and we've seen it. We've seen the mistakes. And
can I help with that, Harry?
I was going in the line. Tim is next, so I got you. I got you.
All right.
Tim,
I just want to say this last real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say that now that we have the mic now, the real haters, or the bandwagon buffs that jumped off, are trying to get back on, because we now have control of the mic, and we are changing the narrative to a point where, see, you are the one. This is true hater. You're the one that was not believing in him, because there's a lot of us that believed in Prime, but that does not mean that we're not here to say, hey, we need to correct some problems.
Yeah, at the end of the day, people who had constructive criticism, the people who are super fans that didn't understand what we were doing as being constructive, I think they're going to say, some of them are going to try to come back and say, see what I told you? I told you CU was da, 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 da. But it's like the whole time we were saying CU was good, but then areas that we were critiquing, needed some areas, needed some attention as well. And because we critiqued those areas, I think fans around here saw the areas, and then we were able to see the change in real time. But Tim, we got the microphone back. How are we treating this microphone that we got? How do you see us, or how do you think we should treat the microphone now that we got it back?
I mean, you don't treat it no different. I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Coach Prime right now. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the coaching staff as a whole. I agree with a lot of things that he said. Um, the stopping the run. We know what the issues, the main issues are. Stopping the run, staying true to the run, regardless if it work or not. Uh, just to keep the defense honest and the guys that are behind the starters, it feel good to know that when those guys, if somebody go down, the depth behind us uh is coming in and playing with that same intensity. So I feel like CU is in a good place to win out, in my opinion. And I have my various reasons of how it can
You're
really
trying to
be
protect that
done.
10 and 2. You're trying to
Man, that
protect
10 and
that 10
2 going that 10 and 2 gonna be protected, bro. Like the way they played in Arizona and that feeling coming out that K-State loss when they know they should have won that game. Um, I just feel like the same intensity is gonna carry out every weekend, even coming off the second bye. I feel like they're not gonna go into it the same way that they did off the first one. So I mean, I just at the end of the day, I feel like, since we got the mic back, I mean, we just keep doing what we're doing and we'll be all right.
So none of y'all want to be petty. I'm giving you a free get be petty card, and none of y'all are taking the bait.
Let me
Like
have
y'all
it.
want to
Let me
stay.
have it. I got it.
It's not about it's not about being petty though,
go ahead.
Harry.
Let Ron have his time, but and I'm not saying be petty. I'm just saying, okay, I get it, but we got the mic back. They've been flexing on us for a minute now. I'm giving y'all I'm saying, hey, this is an alley oop. How are we supposed to
You
treat this
flex,
microphone?
you
All right,
flex after that Oklahoma State game.
all right, go ahead,
There you
Ron.
go. Preach.
Okay. Okay, listen. This is what we're gonna do. Tim, I'm guaranteeing that we go 10 and 2 this year. And you know how we're gonna do it? We're gonna win one game at a time. And every time we come on here,
How you gotta do it? You gotta win every game.
we're gonna win. We are gonna win every game. And I'm gonna tell you how we're gonna do it. Our defense is gonna
Okay.
be formed, and Cincinnati this week, Cincinnati doesn't have a defense that can stop our offense. We're not gonna give that quarterback time to throw. And Harry, you've been calling for pick sixes and for the defense to score. This week they're gonna do that. We can
Okay.
use that microphone to each and every week speak about how our team is going to win. That's how I'd like to use it. I'm guaranteeing a win this week.
Okay, so I'm not gonna go all the way out on the limb. I'm gonna still do what I do on this channel, which is preview each team, what their positives are, what their negatives are. You know, we're gonna talk about what we got, especially if we can get our depth chart to know who's available for in our arsenal.
Harry.
But I think I think as far as our microphone, I say, listen, man, we shouldn't be shy to flex because they've been flexing on us for a minute. We can flex on them, because the thing is, everybody is good, but Colorado. Everybody gets good and better in recruiting. Everybody got better with their wide receiver. Everybody got better, but Colorado. So every time we make changes, when we talk about our changes is never good enough because each and every week, oh, this quarterback's a running quarterback. This quarterback can do this. This running back can do this. This. Oh man, you should see their tight end room. So every single time we talk about Colorado's changes, it seems like it falls on deaf ears. But their changes is always the greatest changes since sliced bread. So I think I'm gonna use my mic. I'm gonna flex a little bit. I'm sorry, but y'all can stay. I'll get petty a little bit. All right, I'm gonna use my
Come
mic.
on,
to
Harry.
get petty
Harry,
a little bit.
we gotta stay humble, Harry. We gotta stay humble.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be
Hey,
humble.
Harry.
I ain't trying to be all humble and stuff. If they're flexing
You know
on
what?
us, we gonna flex on them too.
Harry,
Go ahead, Coach.
Harry, you don't have to be humble and you don't have to be petty, but you can be right in the middle. But I will tell you this: take a page out of Coach Prime book. Just keep the receipts. Because if everything goes the way we believe it will, they finish the season 10-2. They're in the Big 12 championship. How much more beautiful it would be to talk junk after being a Big 12 champion to all those haters that you have receipts on. So I think it's best to just stay humble a little bit. If somebody want to open their mouth, then you can you slap them on back there. No, be quiet over there, because you said we was gonna be this and we ain't. And then you just keep let that train keep on rolling, build momentum all the way to the Big 12 championship. Because once they get in the Big 12 championship, I don't care what happens in the playoffs. They all the pundits and all the haters said they will go 3-8 or 3-9, and they were gonna be this and that. They were gonna win 5 games. If they make it to Big 10 championship, win that, and get in the playoffs. Oh, it's time to talk junk. I don't care what. We can get blown out in the playoffs. I don't care. We're talking junk.
Hey, Harry, let me tell you how I'm going to be humble. I'm going to take out my megaphone. I can't do pom-poms real well, but I'm going to get pom-poms to my pom-pom man, and I'm going to be shouting with my megaphone right on side of him in the cheerleading line. That's right. I'm going to do it. 10-2 this week, Cincinnati. It's on you.
Next week, not this week.
Well,
we on the bye, right?
Not this week. We're on the bye after Cincinnati.
Next week. Yeah.
We on the bye after Cincy?
Yes. That's why I was saying last
we're going to be on the bye for Texas.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like when you asked,
I didn't know that. I thought Cincy was a bye. Oh, my bad.
No, yeah, that's why I was saying let's rest Travis so we can be ready for Texas.
I think Cincy beat Utah, right? So Cincy beat Utah. Cincy's looking good.
Yes.
Cincy's looking good. They're tied with us at 3-1.
Right. This is a big game for us.
Yeah.
This is a big game.
This is a big game. We don't know how Cincy is. They got to line up against us. We don't know how they are. But I just wanted to put this out there for on 3. I like to call them off 3 now. And then Vegas, because Vegas has looked trash 2 weeks. We at the UCF game and with the Arizona game. They've been looking like, like they don't know what they're talking about, because I think what they're doing is they're looking at last year Colorado, and then they're looking at the fan base and saying that we're bad. But look at on 3. Y'all remember this graphics when we talked about this, when they put this up. It's like how bold do you have to be, or what did you have at your arsenal when you're making your predictions, when you're making this graphics? Who's making this graphics? And is it a Jason Whitlock type of person that's making this type of graphics? Because you were real bullish on just after Colorado wins 4 games, you're like, they're not going to win no more. For you to just go straight in and say they're going to lose out. What were you watching?
Well,
like, what game were you watching? Because after that Nebraska game, they held Nebraska scoreless in the second half. And then from there, the defense has been playing very well until we got smacked in the mouth with the running game with K-State. But after that, it was like, bro, what are you watching? So, come on 3. Like, it has to be another type of analysis. Because I'm like, we know what we've been seeing on this channel. We know what we've been watching because we watch very closely. When other people, when they predict or when they do their analysis, it seems like it's embedded into something else. There's something more to it than just, we're critiquing football. Like what Colorado is putting on this field this year. It feels like it's something different. It don't feel like what we've been analyzing. Because what we've been analyzing, when we see Black Bully taking on 2 or 3 guys, when we see Nakai Hill-Green step up, when we saw Bentley step up, and our wide receivers are playing lights out, I'm like, well, what are they watching? Am I wrong or am I wrong? Or am I right? Like, am I missing something?
Nope, they just hate
the narrative. The narrative has always been from last year. And the fact that they went through what they went through, or Colorado, I should say, in prime, what they went through. The narrative is they're no good. The transfer portal doesn't work. This type of way of recruiting does not work in college. Even though Indiana is having immense success behind that. So they have to find a way to basically say prime bad, old, and I'll say I'm not trying to be racial or anything, but old white way of thinking is the best way, and the new way of thinking is Prime's way of trying to get into the portal and grabbing people. Because if you want to stay competitive, you're going to get guys that have been in the system and are capable of starting. Look at what Prime did.
That's right. All right, let's dig into this a little bit, guys, and then we can get up out of here because we're about to be up out of here.
Let's go over the highest graded players, starting off with Colorado destroying Arizona.
Say that again one more time for me, my guy. Just one more time. Say that again one more time. It sounds a little better when somebody else says it.
Colorado destroying Arizona.
That feels so good. That's how I'm using my microphone nowadays. I'm going to let other people say it.
Colorado destroying Arizona 34-7. Let's go over the highest graded players, starting off with the Colorado Buffaloes. Tyler Brown, 76.9 grade, the offensive guard. Good game for him. Nakai Hill-Green, the linebacker, at a 74.7. LeJontay Wester, your guy, Dawn, 74.6 grade. Chidozie Nwankwo at a 73.4 grade. Shane Cokes at a 72.2. And Shedeur Sanders at a 67.1 grade against Arizona. Let's go over to Arizona side with their highest graded players in this one. Jack Luttrell with an 80.5 grade overall. Kamula Kaiui at a 70.3, Chase Kennedy 70.2, Tay Brown 69.7, Demetrius Freeney 69.1, and Noah Fafita with a 57.8 grade in the loss to Colorado. Don, for you, what's depth of the story?
So I think there's a couple of things here when you look at that list of players for Colorado isn't really, for the most part, that's not really the usual suspects, right? I mean, when you talk about Shedeur Sanders actually had his lowest graded game of the season. You know, he made some mistakes in the second quarter, especially in this game. And the one thing that stood out to me, first of all, just a dominant effort team-wide, right? And I think that's one of the things, again, we said it last week even though they lost to K-State, Colorado's a Big 12 contender, right? And it's even tighter now because we saw Texas Tech lose. We saw Iowa State showed some vulnerability. BYU showed some vulnerability. They're the two undefeated teams left in the conference, but this conference race is wide open. And I think we saw, even in a loss to K-State, that they're a contender. Now, if you're going to be a contender, go and beat down a struggling team like Arizona, because Arizona's been struggling ever since Big 12 play started. And that's exactly.
So let me ask you a question. Did Arizona lose that game?
Hold on a second. Why did Lee Jordan?
Hold on. Let's not worry about that real quick. Let me ask you a question. Did Arizona lose that game, or did Colorado dominate that game?
Colorado dominated it.
Yeah, Colorado dominated that game.
Colorado dominated.
Why did Colorado dominate that game?
Because it was 11-on-11, regardless of how many players may have been hurt. It's the next man up. And you don't get a pass. I mean, it's 11-on-11. They had 11 players out there. We had 11 players out there. Our players dominated their 11 players. So they dominated all phases of the game.
I mean, because if Colorado has
players.
So are we dealing with something where Colorado has DEPTH like out the wazoo this year? Or is it that that Arizona was just too depleted to compete with what we had?
No, they had their best players out there, the T-Mac, and they had I forgot the quarterback's name. They had him out there. Yeah, they had him out there. So we just shut them down. We put them in a situation where they couldn't compete.
So then the narrative that we had, you remember the narrative that we said, we saw something in Colorado. We saw something in Colorado's eyes when they lost that close game to K-State.
They lost that game.
Right. Like we saw BJ Green when he came to the microphone and he started to, when he was talking, it just felt like he just wanted to play right now. And I was saying, like, yo, that defense felt like they let one go. Are we going to be seeing this defense more often now, or do y'all think they regress?
More often. because they see they see what's ahead of them. If they play like they played against Arizona, against everybody else for the rest of the season, it won't even be close.
Yeah, they will continue to show up. We have the fact that we have the depth to continue. I mean, you're putting guys out there. They're like, all right, BJ Green's not out there, but we got someone else that go out there and, you know, lay the smack down as well. So it's going to continue, and they're growing. It's even better.
And what's scary is we wasn't even at full 100% healthy. We still had guys hurt.
Right.
And they were playing other guys, and that defense looked outstanding. That's what everybody's scared of. Like, oh snap, they did that, and they top guys wasn't even playing. Yeah,
exactly. Travis Hunter was not even in the game at DB, yeah. So it's like.
Harry,
but see, this is the narrative. This is what Sec does. Sec is like, I got a 5-star that's hurt, but I got another 5-star that come in and do, and put him in there. But see, now we're starting to get something like that, and now the narrative is going to change for us.
Yeah. Not only that, you got guys like, I remember saying in the beginning of the season, picking up Dustin Wade from Kentucky was a good pick because he flies downhill and he had 2 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. He haven't played all season, and to come in and have two sacks like that, and to play at the high level when your starters are out, like somebody just said, that's scary.
Yep.
Right. And can we give Shiloh Sanders his flowers again, at least?
I told you.
Because I mean, I kind of said it too. I said, look, we can. Shiloh is the type of guy who gets it. He understands it. He understands the moment. His dad has been raising him the right way. He understands what he has to do to make adjustments. And tackling is not an issue for Shiloh, and the way that he hits, right? Because I don't know who started this whole Shiloh Sanders talking point. Like, if Shiloh comes back, should we? Yeah, he had a bad game, but do you, for a guy like that, you don't take him and put him on the bench. You let him redeem himself. And would y'all agree that he redeemed himself in this Arizona game?
I can admit that I can admit that I was one of the ones that was talking about him, but it's just, I guess it's not that I'm hating on him. I don't want nobody to feel that way, or I'm just passionate about the little things. If I understand he can hit and he hits hard, but how is that going to translate to the next level? You're not going to be able to hit guys, not even the next level, college. I mean, K-State displayed that. You have to wrap up. The way he came off the edge and hit Fafita on a safety blitz.
That's not true. That's not true. Look at last night, the NFL. There were guys scared to hit Derrick Henry. Some guys.
Who ain't scared to hit Derrick Henry?
But I'm just saying, a lot of guys in the NFL, if you sit and watch, a lot of guys in the NFL don't wrap up. They just throw shoulders.
No, but coach, check this out. The fundamentals of teaching that tackling.
But he's got that.
I know that, but he likes to lean more with his shoulders. What I'm saying nowadays,
he wants to set a tone. He wants to set a tone.
Yes, I understand that.
He wants to set a tone. He wants to set a tone. But at the end of the day, you got to look at it like this: if he's not wrapping up, how did he lead the team last year in tackles? If he's not wrapping up.
I mean, you got a point there. I give you that. But I guess for me personally, I would like to see him wrap up more like Silman Craig. Silman Craig gonna wrap you up.
Mm-hmm.
And not to.
But Silman Craig has to.
No, I was gonna say I think the difference is for Shiloh. Because Travis Hunter is not a wrap up guy either. Travis Hunter, he goes for the shoulder tackles.
I don't know.
Well, Travis goes. Okay, so the way that he does it, he doesn't always try to go for, I'm going to try to demolish you. I think he goes for, y'all remember, I think it was the Baylor game, the fumble that he calls at the end. That's how I see Shadow tackles. I mean, not Shadow, but Travis tackles a lot. He goes in a way where he puts his body in a place where you can't come back from. Shiloh does the same thing, but he does it where he's trying to he's trying to make you fly into next week. Travis is not trying to do that, which is a lot of DBs tackle that way. They're not always wrapping up. They do wrap up, but they're not always wrapping up. They just place their body in a way where your body's going to go down based on how they lower their shoulder. But
okay, I'm going to push back on you on this one. Go
Harry.
ahead. Okay, so if you looked at the film, they played a lot of zone, and you could see Shiloh back in the zone, and he was waiting for them to come to them. He didn't engage. If you saw him, he sat there while they were coming to him, and he did not engage. So in that perspective, I'm saying is, did he really improve? We don't know that because only
yes, and that's a yes. No, because remember, he talked about in his press conference that he was just patient, attacking and not being patient. So yes, that was the improvement because he was more patient with trying to make sure that the game came to him and not trying to overplay his hand. So yes, that specific thing was an improvement.
But that was in a zone, though. In a zone. Okay.
You talking about Fafita?
You still have to be patient.
But hold on. So in the zone, you see where you're in the zone. You're looking at the ball. We're trying to figure out where it's going. Right, sitting in your area, waiting for it to come to you. Right, but in this case, I'm sorry. Hold on, my kid is crying.
Go ahead, Coach. You were saying? Coach McKinney. All right, go ahead, Tim.
Oh, I was gonna say when Fafita broke up the middle for a run, and Shiloh was standing there, that was good by Shiloh. He broke down. So if Fafita went left or right, that's stuff that they teach you when you coming up to tackle or a runner coming up to you. You break down, because if he came in like he did against K-State, Fafita could have went left or right. But when Fafita seen him break down, Fafita just pretty much just fell at his feet. So I feel like Shiloh, he did good this week.
Yeah, Shiloh did good. Shiloh redeemed himself. He needed to be patient. He was patient. He needed to make sure that he wrapped up. He didn't let anybody get past him by just trying to shoulder bump him and then bounce off of him and go make some yards. He made sure of that. So that's the redemption that we need from a guy like Shiloh. Let's bring on DC. DC back. DC, welcome back. I hope your meeting went well. Somebody said that you were the PTA leader and you were running away with your PTA meeting, but welcome back anyway.
Hey man, it went well. It was quick in and out. I like those.
Okay, that's good.
Jesus.
I ain't gonna say pause, but if you like the quick in and outs, then anyway, let's keep it. Okay, let's play a little bit more of this.
Exactly what they did. But the one thing that stood out for me with Colorado, they actually got a pass rush going this week. And look, as a team, 67.4 pass rush grade, that's a season high. And they only had 2 games last year that were higher than that. They had Noah Fafita under pressure on almost 53% of his dropbacks. I mean, I'll tell you what, I know we talk about Fafita and McMillan and how good they can be, but you pressure a guy that much and you have a 44% pass rush win rate as a team and you sack a guy 7 times. I mean, the Colorado now, I've talked about their run defense a lot. Everyone talks about the secondary a lot with Travis Hunter, obviously, and Shiloh and Preston Hodge and all those guys. Now you get a pass rush going. You get Nwankwo going. You get BJ Green going. Shane Cokes had a good – I mean, their whole defensive line, if they're going to put together a pass rush now, this defense just keeps getting better. I mean, to go into Arizona, and for some reason Arizona was favored coming into this game. I didn't really understand that, but I won't question the books. If they get a pass rush going now, especially sending 4, you got problems at all 3 levels of this defense facing them. You really do. And I know Arizona's been struggling in offense, but against the struggling offense, this defense did what they were supposed to do. But it was good to see them get a pass rush because we'd already talked enough about their.
Look at it. So Okay, here comes D'Esposito again. Let me get
Anthony D'Esposito's record as a cop,
screen.
lawsuits costing taxpayers hundreds of thousands, allegations of assault, fabricating evidence, and lying under oath. Anthony D'Esposito, the disgraced cop who won't keep us safe.
Yeah, y'all disgraced cops. I don't know what's wrong with y'all crooked cops. Let's get this.
Grundy and coverage,
So,
and
all right,
you know,
so this is the question on the board right now. Did Colorado always have a run, a pass rush, and it was just hard for the other teams because the other teams they had good lines, and Colorado just couldn't break the line, and it's now starting to, become a reality, or was Arizona just that bad?
No, they've always had a good D line. It took them a while to gel together, just like an offensive line. It took them a while to gel.
Okay, Coach McKinney,
so they're
before
peaking
you
at the right time.
Coach McKinney, before you cook, you as a coach, are you going to sit here and tell me that Arizona has a good offensive line and that was a good team?
No, but I will say this though: they already projected that Arizona has 2 linemen that are projected to be a top first 3 round draft picks. Though, so it wasn't like they line sucked. They may not be the greatest line, but they wasn't sorry. Their left tackle and left guard are projected to go within the first 3 rounds of the draft.
Isn't that fair to say though? I mean, coach was pointed out, because then we say the same thing about Nebraska's line. Like, they had 2 guys that were projected to the NFL. That's not fair to say.
They say about Nebraska D line, right? They say the same about Nebraska D line. So does that mean because Nebraska D line was sacking Shedeur, that our O line is sorry as all?
Well, what you're saying is that this is a good line, but because in order for you to say that, that would mean that you're saying that Colorado has an elite line.
No, I'm not saying elite, but I am not saying sorry. I would say elite. When you say elite, you're talking about like them old school Alabama and Georgia and Clemson championship D lines, and ain't nobody got that. Not even Georgia and Clemson, Alabama right now. So,
well, that's not what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. When I think of elite, I'm thinking about those championship teams, like the Clemson had those 4 guys that go to the pros. Georgia had the same thing happen. Alabama had the same thing happen to their D line. Are we at that level? Not yet. But our guys are gelling together. They're playing together. And just like Harry brought up a little while ago, after that loss to K-State, Harry and BJ Green said, hey, the dam broke. It really broke for them. Now them guys seeing what each other can do, and they're getting after of it. They're really getting after people. Arizona just happened to be the first victim. That's all.
Hey, can I
that's the question that I'm asking. That's the question that I'm asking. Are we ready to crown these guys, or will we just had a soft opponent? Like, every week there is something to take away.
I can answer this.
I just want to know if what I'm watching, if it's real, or is it that we just had another soft opponent? So, again, go ahead, Tim.
What I'm going to say is this. They had to earn the right to rush the passer. Right?
Okay.
Sapp been saying this all season. Stop the run. You have to earn the right to rush the passer. They got they.
Oh, you mean it was a decision by coaches not to send a blitzer?
No, yes, not to send them. Yes, exactly. So what I'm saying, they've been playing the run heavy all season, being able to stop the run based off of what last year looked like, not being able to stop the run on nobody. So they have to earn. They know the caliber of players that they have on defense, and Okaloa and BJ Green and Destin Wade. They know they can blitz and get pressure on the quarterback, but their main focus is to stop the run. Arizona just so happened to be the first victim to experience that pass rush. Not only that, when they ran a lot of stunts. Livingston.
So we were stunting. So when we talked about preseason, we started stunting this game.
They were stunting, man, and they were getting to Fafita.
Yes.
And it made it so. Fafita looked like Shador did last season
in
this
2020,
game.
right? I said that.
Yes,
Yeah.
with those stunts that Livingston was throwing at him, the blitzes that he was bringing Shallow on and Silman Craig. I'm telling you, man, next week, Cincinnati quarterback is going to wreak havoc with this defense, and it's going to be the same show that we seen at Arizona.
Okay, y'all forcing me to bring my butter out. Because
bring it out because we got the microphone, DC. Be careful, DC, because we got the mic and we're bound to use this microphone if you step the wrong way. Okay, DC?
Say pause.
Harry, now you're gonna be petty on him. I'm gonna let you use your mic and be petty on him for that one, Harry.
For real, like we had a segment on how we're gonna use the microphone. So we got our microphone back. You ain't got this microphone, so be careful how you move. Go ahead, DC.
All right, so here's the thing. Let's just go ahead and look at college football this year. We thought, think about this. Navy and Army are undefeated. Are they not? So what we're seeing right now is, I don't want to take anything away from the awesome improvements Colorado has made. Let's make sure we get that straight. But let's also not sit here and act as if we're all that this whole thing has changed. We thought Kansas State would be good. They're not. We thought Arizona would be good. Obviously, they're not. Though they got good talent, they're doing exactly what it is that
Kansas State. You mean Kansas?
No, I said, well, Kansas. We thought Arizona was going to suck. They don't. We thought BYU was going to suck. They don't. We thought Cincinnati was going to suck. We don't. So at the end of the day,
who thought Arizona was going to suck?
No, Arizona State. I thought Arizona State. We thought Arizona State was going to be good. They're not. So my thing
we thought that State. Okay, we thought that State was going to suck and Arizona was going to be good.
That is true.
State it's the opposite this year.
Exactly. Or let's go further. We thought that the Bama loss to Vandy was horrible, but obviously it wasn't. Bama lost to Tennessee, but let's forget Tennessee is a ranked team, even though that. But here's my point. Okay. If we're gonna talk about football now, if y'all want to shake the CU pom-poms, go right ahead. But
we are going to, and you ain't gonna stop this pom-pom shaking either.
Well, then I don't have nothing. Then I'm gonna put myself on mute and let y'all shake it. Shake it like
no, make your point. No, I want you to make your point. You gotta.
But my point is,
your plane. But I want to hear what you got to say.
But my point is that what we thought these teams will be, they're not. But that does not mean necessarily that Colorado is now the jail team that's being stated here. That's what I'm saying, because we've seen up and down games. What we need to have is consistency with it. But what I'm seeing is that we'll take a team that even may be a little good, but not play a great game. That will all what we're doing right here is just call it for what it is. We're moving the goalposts. When Colorado does good, this is the team. When we don't do good, oh well, we just missed it by a couple of things. You got to get like last week saying, well, we just lost that game. Or let's say, for example, somebody says we gave that game away. No, you got beat. Just like this game, you won. So why can't we acknowledge that?
Okay, hold on. So let me get this straight. Let me hear what I think let me articulate what I think I'm hearing. You're saying that CU, do you believe that CU got beat in that game? Or do you believe that CU lost that game? Because getting beat is one thing and losing a game is another.
Okay, here's what I would say is
Colorado or Colorado lost that game.
K-State beat Colorado. Nebraska beat Colorado. Here's my point. Here's what I'm saying. It's that when you look at this,
I see the run. If you say the run, then it'll be easier for me to take. But I'm trying to tell you that CU really was in that game.
Well, then you can sit back and say Baylor gave the game away. Can you say Baylor gave the game away?
That Nebraska game was a little bit different because CU didn't have any answers. So I don't know if I'm totally agreeing with with how you're articulating this. I don't know if I'm totally on board with it.
Well, but like this, could we not say Baylor gave the game away?
No,
right?
You can't.
So, but we can't say that. So basically, we can say Colorado beat Baylor, but KSU, but Colorado gave the game away for KSU. That's what you were saying?
Colorado didn't give it away. No.
Okay.
Colorado didn't give it away. I wouldn't term it as Colorado gave it away. I believe that K-State won the game. I believe K-State won the game, but I don't believe that K-State really beat Colorado. Like when you say, "Oh, they got beat," Nebraska beat us.
They beat them.
Oregon beat us.
They knocked 6 of your people out the game. That's beating.
All right, man,
right?
I can concede. All right, I concede to K-State beating us. All right, I'll give you that. But when it comes to how Colorado beat Arizona, it wasn't like how Colorado beat Arizona. K-State didn't beat us like that.
Y'all beat the heck out of USCF in Arizona. You beat the crap out of them.
But we were supposed to get beat by K-State like that. We were supposed to. Colorado almost won that game, and it came down to one. We let 3 plays beat us in by 3 points. But do you think that will happen again? Do you?
Yes.
Let me put the schedule out, and I'll ask you a question, because this is why you issued the first apology, and I don't want you to have to issue another one. But let me tell you something about the Colorado that we see and that you may not be seeing right now. The Colorado we saw last week. It was a progression. It was a progressive Colorado that we were seeing. But some people are still kind of stuck in last year, and they're still thinking that Colorado hasn't really gained. Colorado, their identity hasn't been identified yet. I do these progressions so you can see what's happening. I said how Colorado loses to K-State is going to be important, and also if we win, it's going to be important. If we win, is great, but how we lose is also important. And how we lost was an indicator that Colorado has already identified themselves and says, this is who we are. We can play with any team on this schedule. So I put the schedule up again. I put the schedule up again so I can let you know that Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Utah, especially Kansas, and now OSU. I don't know if any of them can beat us.
Hold on one second. Let me just say something for a fact. The people saying, do I have credibility? I have the credibility because I have picked Colorado. It's only 2 games I got wrong.
Yeah, you do have credibility. I'm not gonna hold you.
Right. So when folks are sitting here saying that, you got to understand is that when y'all was saying Nebraska I was saying Nebraska's gonna beat you, and they did. And to a point where I've always sit back. If you'll notice, I've said that Colorado will win, but I've always said that they will cover, and they generally have. This was that one game, so I just need folks to level set.
Don't worry about the chat. You got credibility. I'm not questioning that. You missed one. That's fine. Everybody missed
Harry,
one.
I'm cool with missing it. But Cook,
what was that last statement you just made? You said Colorado. You said look at the schedule. You said nobody can beat Colorado.
No. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying Colorado's not beatable. I'm saying Colorado these games are winnable. Colorado
they are winnable.
They are
100%. Yes.
If you look, if we were to rightfully look at Colorado's progressions, the defense has been consistent, which I'm sticking on. They've been consistent, right? They let one go. They let one go with K-State. For some odd reason, Livingston got outcoached, right?
I agree.
But then he comes back and he starts stunting, right? Remember I asked you guys, what happens if we start stunting like K-State stunting on us? And then Tim, you just said we were stunting all game, right?
We were.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to it for the rest of the season.
Exactly.
So get that 10-2 done.
So what does that tell you? That tells you that even Livingston is evolving. He's taking a page out of every team that we play, especially how they play us. Especially if we get like in a jam, and he's learning from these guys. So keep in mind that he's a new guy too. So he's learning. He's like, hold up. He's gonna go home and say, how did K-State beat us? Oh, they were stunting on us. So let's stunt on Arizona and see what happens. Now we got to go to Cincinnati this weekend. You don't think he's going to be stunting too?
Cincinnati come to us.
Say that again.
Cincinnati come to us. We don't go to Cincinnati.
No, I'm just saying. We play Cincinnati.
Oh, okay.
Right? We play Cincinnati. So you think he ain't gonna stunt on Cincinnati? He gonna stunt too. So what I'm saying is, remember the off season, the conversations that we were having in the off season. Just like you just articulated, DC, these teams were different. These are not the same teams that we articulated or that we predicted in the off season. The entire when we took a look at that entire CBS preseason ranking, these are not the same teams. Even Colorado's not the same team. No, I don't think any of us knew that Colorado was going to be this good, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The offense we knew because we had Shedeur and Travis, so we always knew that, and we rightfully said we have, if not the best, but one of the best offensive wide receiver rooms in college football, and that's already been proven. But ain't nobody know that Utah was going to be like this. Nobody knew that Kansas was going to be like this, and Oklahoma State. Nobody knew that they were going to be like this bad. And CU being this good, we knew that they were good, but we didn't know that they were actually going to be this good. I don't know if anybody.
I can say that I thought CU would be better, but when you sit back and look at these games and you look at what we're looking at, I think they're better. They got better players. They got better trenches on the offense and defensive line. We all can say that, but then think about this. It's what we're saying is that, do I think CU is this good? I guess I'm asking, what do you, how are you defining by this good?
Harry.
Okay, let me make that clear for you. CU's defense is one of the best defenses in the Big 12. True. I don't know that I could have predicted that in the preseason. I couldn't, because I didn't know Livingston. I knew that Nikhai Hill-Green was going to step up, and I knew he was going to be a leader from what I've seen, and I made a video about that, but I didn't know how good he was really going to be. I didn't know that Oklahoma was going to have 2 or 3 sacks on Fafita. So these guys are gradually stepping up, and they're putting up numbers that I don't think any of us could have predicted. Now you got a defense, huh?
How can you not see it? They were starters at their previous universities, and they
that doesn't always translate. That doesn't always translate. Look at
who their coach was. You got listen. Lou as your D-line coach.
All right. So calm down. That's why I had the microphone segment. Calm down, because what we can't do is, when things are going wrong, just like DC was trying to say, we can't now be this bullish, because a lot of us, while we may be optimistic, that optimism is not based in, oh, we emphatically know. That's almost like hindsight is undefeated. Right now that things are going well, when things were going bad, we were like, we don't know who's going to show up. So let's be honest. Let's keep it 100. All right. Yeah. Don't flex on now. Don't start flexing now, because when things go bad, we're like, okay, the defense is bad again, or the offensive line is bad again. Let's not do that. But what I'm saying is, some of the things that we are seeing, nobody could have predicted. We knew what we had, but the results we could not predict. Like the PFF grades.
I mean, Harry, let's be real, though, that no one can really predict how everything's going to turn out. I mean, we could do the same thing that CBS does, or whatever other establishment does, and they'll get it half wrong at the time. I mean, I'm still predicting 8-4, although we're looking like we're going to go 10-2, but that's just a prediction. I mean, a lot of stuff could happen, you know. Shedeur could get hurt, you know, and then how do we respond to that? We don't know.
Travis is hurt right now, so again, that's another thing. So I'm not a 10-2 guy. I am not a 10-2 guy. I say that again.
So I know for me, when you did your preseason, we talked about this, and you have to go back and pull up the video. But when we did the preseason records and stuff, I remember saying, because I watched everything that Colorado doing and was putting out, and I was watching the guys that were coming in. So for me, I had them at 8-4 as the floor, but their ceiling for me was always 10-2. I knew there was a chance they might take 2 losses. I just didn't think it would be the 2 that they got right now. I thought it was going to be maybe a Utah and an Oklahoma State. But now you see how, like you said, I couldn't predict how Utah and Oklahoma State was going to be this year. But I always felt they could be a 10-2 and be in the Big 12 championship because of the kids they brought in that were good players from other schools, like they said about Shepard. He was a 2,000-yard receiver in the SEC. That boy ain't no scrub. And he was on a sorry team.
So what Love and Liberty is saying, we still don't know. I think it's the question still out there, and we got about 5 more minutes, guys. Is the question still out there? Do we need to play a ranked team and play them like we played Arizona for the question to go away? Because I feel like we kind of know who's going to show up, but maybe they may not come fully prepared or something. I kind of understand who's going to show up, but is the question still out there? We may not. We still don't know. Is it because we really haven't beat a ranked team? Is that the case?
We need to win the Big 12. We need to win the Big 12. The Big
But
12
see-
will answer all questions.
But see, that's where I kind of get into a point where we'll go. Like for me, I'm cool if they go 6-6, not as a hater, but because that's good for a. Even though I had them at 5-7, but they're better, and so I can admit that. But the thing is that 6-6 for a rebuilding year is good. Even 7-5 or 8-4, that's good. But what you also have to look at is that we got to factor in teams that we didn't think were going to be good are good. Like for example, you can't just look at Colorado and go, well, they're better because they are better. But then you also have to take a look at the competition that they're facing. So, because I'm going to show y'all something that's concerning to me for Colorado. And I do agree now, Coach McKinney, that they've got to win out because Colorado had been getting votes for the top 25 on the AP as well as the coaches poll. Even after that win last week, they got no votes. So that to me is concerning to say, hey, you had got as high as getting at least 30 points, 30 votes, but now you're not getting any votes. So that says to me, you do have to win, like Coach McKinney said, you do have to beat a ranked team because even in that, it's not to a point where you're not getting the respect, from the analysts and stuff like that. But when it comes to those people that are voting, Colorado is still not getting there. And you got to take a look at some of it's hate, true, Deion tax, but some of it is they're looking at this team and say, I don't know, and maybe it's because of inconsistency. What do y'all think?
Right. So I got the list up here. That was part of the show. We just didn't get to it. The coaches poll, but I would have to ask, what is this list made of? Is it a preseason CBS list, or is it coaches that just don't feel like? Is it Vegas that still don't understand that this team is actually legit, or they don't see what we see every single week? They don't see the nuances that we're looking at. Like, oh, did you see the look in those guys' eyes when they lost to K-State? Oh, did you see how they're taking this? And did you see that locker room? They don't look at it like that. And of course, warm and fuzzies don't win games, but we know what we see. And what I saw, I said Arizona might be in trouble because those guys, that defense, they smell blood. And that's exactly what happened. They limited them, a high-power offense like Arizona's, they limited them to 7 points only. And I don't think they're done yet.
Well,
so
okay, Harry.
I don't think that this list means that much to me.
The list is a predetermined standard that there is bias in it. Look at what happened to FSU last year, missing the playoffs. So there is bias in there, and there is predetermined standards. I mean, what a lot of people have been saying, if Prime gets to a point where there's a chance of him getting into the playoffs, he's like, "You really gonna leave me out? I'm Prime. You're really gonna leave me out?" Like that, there's a perspective of that. It's just this bias and predetermined standards.
I think the other thing everybody has to worry about or need to really think about is don't get caught up in the polls, because it does not mean nothing until the CFP poll comes out. That's why they wait so long before they put it out, because they want to see how you play throughout the season. Those polls are due to come out in the next 2 or 3 weeks from now. So all this poll stuff don't mean nothing, because the way the coaches poll and the AP poll looks, watch the CFP poll won't look nothing like it, because it's going to be a committee of former actual head coaches, ADs, and presidents. And those guys are going to they're going to sit down and put together a strong enough poll that everybody's going to have to reconcile with. So I wouldn't get caught in the AP and the coach poll right now, because it doesn't mean anything. Because like you said,
it does, Coach McKinney. Now you know good and well that these polls have a little something. I get what you're saying, but they do have an impact, even if it's the subconscious perception. But I agree with what you're saying as concept, but it's got a little bit to do with it.
All right, so let's bring on Common Sense Buff. He's coming on a little late, but he's still here. Welcome back, my brother. How you doing today? I appreciate you.
Start at the beginning.
Well, man, you live about you Liberian time about.
Yes, yeah, bro.
So listen, you to this. How much weight should we put on these polls? Because at this point, I'm like, who cares? That's how I feel. But how do you feel about this poll?
0 for me.
I mean, we have to remember, before the playoffs, these polls meant everything, right? It was the only way that you were going to get into a bowl game. And we saw how problematic it was when that was the only way of determining who was going to play in a bowl game or the big bowl games. There was controversy all the time when it came down to the end of the season, you know, which one-win team deserved to actually play for the national championship, right? That happened all the time. So I think in the era of the college football playoffs, the polling is becoming less and less important, or less and less consequential. I think really what teams need to focus on is their standings within their conference, because that's really what you're playing for, right? Everybody is playing to try to go to the playoffs. Do we see a world where a playoff team goes to the playoff being unranked? That will be the day when we throw out polls. Meaning a team is there's so much bias against a team that they're a conference champ and they're unranked and they get a seat in the playoffs, right? I don't foresee a world where the polls are going to be so off that is the case, but I think the polls are losing relevance. I think it's just a thing that teams like having to be ranked, right? And it's kind of a validation of how well they're playing. But in the college football playoff era, man, all that matters is conference championships and going to the playoffs. That's it.
Let me ask you a question. Would you say the same thing if Colorado was ranked 15th?
If Colorado was ranked 15th, I think they would have beat Nebraska. I think not beating Nebraska put Colorado way behind in the polls, right? And then losing that nail biter to Kansas State cost them even more. I am not in the camp that believes that at 5-2, Colorado should be ranked right now. No. I think that once they beat Cincinnati, they certainly deserve to be ranked, and I'll be making the argument for them to be ranked at least in the top 25 once they beat Cincinnati. But I'm not arguing whether or not the polls right now are inaccurate by having Colorado not be ranked. You see, the thing about Colorado is, like Harry B was saying, all of these games were winnable, which is what's frustrating about being a Colorado fan, because you know they're better than they're playing, even at 5-2. That's how high the expectations are for this team. So for people who don't follow Colorado, when somebody comes out and say my expectation for them is 10-2, they be like, "What the hell are you talking about? You're talking about Colorado." But as fans who follow the team closely, we see how well they can play. It's just that which Colorado team shows up on Saturday, they haven't shored that up yet. And I think that's the issue for both the voters who are voting in these polls and for people who don't follow the team closely.
So let me ask the last question for everybody. You can put this in your final thoughts. Does Colorado need to win one more or beat a team like Cincinnati, who I think they were undefeated not too long ago? But does Colorado have to dominate another team like Cincinnati for us to really say, okay, they are like that? Is the question still out there? And like, let's start with CU fan. You got 30 seconds, please.
No, I don't think that's the narrative anymore. I don't think they have to beat another team to prove themselves, because they've proven themselves. They have the ability to do it. They have the coaches, they have the players. They can show out. As long as they can correct some mistakes, they're going to succeed. And they're in all the narrative that says, no, these still have to prove or anything like that. I think they're wrong, because of the fact that they're still wanting to see one specific thing, which is beat a ranked team. And I think the narrative has changed to this team can beat a ranked team. Oh, and one last thing. I said this last week. Tyler Brown, let that man push. And he did.
Well, that's because they ran the ball. Remember, they stopped running and they said we're not going to run no more because we can't run. So when they run, they get these guys to actually be honest. So Tim, you got 30 seconds, brother. Your last thoughts, and does CU have to incorporate this in your last thoughts? Does CU have to win another game, or are they legit now?
Hey, great show, by the way. But as far as if does CU have to win another game to certify that they're legit? Yeah, because you're trying to get into a bowl game, and they need one more win. But if they come out and dominate Cincinnati the same way that they did Arizona, then you really got to start raising the question like, hey, man, this team could possibly be in the top 25 by the end of the season going against, because then you're going to start looking at the rest of their schedule, a nutrition problem with Utah. Nobody can stay healthy. They look bad. Kansas look bad. The only team, in my opinion, that I actually had picked for them to lose against was Oklahoma State. But now I got to look at how they can get it done, because I need to protect the 10-2. But the way OSU played, like DC stated on the last week's show, you never know what type of Oklahoma State team you're gonna get, because they almost beat BYU. So with that said, I think if they dominate Cincinnati at home, which they haven't dominated a team at home this season, I think, yeah, you need to start having a conversation about the top 25 in the AP poll.
All right, DC, you got 30 seconds, brother. I gotta be out soon, so y'all gotta press on.
They gotta win. They gotta win 3 more games, honestly, to get the respect that I think Colorado fans would like. You got to get 3 more games. Now, notice I didn't say you have to be in the Big 12 championship game, because the problem you're having is that Iowa State, BYU, KSU, they're playing good. And so you already have that one, you get another loss. It's going to make it hard for you to get in there. You win 3. I think you get ranked after this game if you win. But I think you win 3 more and you absolutely get the respect that you desire. And you deserve it.
3 more. You always got to move everything, man. Stop playing. You know what? I wish I had more time, DC, but I can't. Coach McKinney, please try to keep it. You got 20 seconds, actually, because I got to go like right now. My heart out is over.
They got to win Big 12.
I passed my heart out time.
They got to win the Big 12. If you want complete everybody to really give them their props, you need to win Big 12. Get to Big 12, you'll get the props. Everything else, everybody gonna find a way to make excuses. All the haters gonna find a way to make excuses. That's it.
Man, we got our respect already. I don't know that we got to win the Big 12 to have respect, because we got the microphone back. The way we lost to K-State, we got the mic back. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? Common Sense Buff, what is your final thoughts, brother?
Yeah, man, appreciate coming on. Sorry I disappeared on you, man. I had to put in some work. I'm trying to get to 13K like you are, man, and
Awesome.
that takes a lot of work. But yeah, a final thought. I think no matter how Colorado has gotten the wins, so I think what we're looking from Colorado is to demonstrate that they could win against opponents of all calibers without making in-game mistakes that could be perceived as if they were playing a better team, that team would be able to take advantage of this mistake. I think the issue that I see with Colorado is that there are periods in the game where they drop off significantly. For example, there was a period that I don't remember, it was in the second quarter or third quarter where they had like back-to-back fumbles, right? Or miscommunication under center that caused a fumble. I think that's what, for me, scares me a little bit if they come up against an opponent that's able to take advantages of those laws in the game. Even in a blowout like Arizona, I think there were periods that I'm like, man, listen, you do this against a good team, they're going to punish you for this mistake, right? You go for it on 4th and 10 against a good team. It's not going to be an easy drag across the middle to Travis Hunter to pick that up. Why are we not punting here? Why are we not kicking a field goal here? Why are we not making certain choices simply because maybe we're in the lead or we think there are no other options? That is my biggest concern right now for Colorado. When they come up against a team who will take advantage of those mistakes. Overall, love to see the team at 5-2. I know a lot of people perceive Colorado as an offensive team. I think this season, Rob Livingston has proved that Colorado is a defensive team and the offense relies heavily on the defense setting the tone. I continue to be impressed by Nikhai Hill-Green. I continue to be impressed by Cam Silman-Craig, who I think are two guys that really get that defense going. And then on the defensive line is Chidozie all day. If those three guys show up on that defense is going to play well, and the offense is going to feed off of that. Overall, though, love what the Buffs are at 5-2.
All right, guys, so I got to get up out of here. My 120 time is 7 minutes over, but I do appreciate the panel. I appreciate DC. I appreciate Common Sense Buff, Coach McKinney, Tim Smith, CU fan, and everybody else, guys. I do appreciate y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day. I will see y'all on the next show. I'm out of here. Peace, guys.
Thank you for having us, Harry.
All right, take care, guys.